Hey folks, Levi here once again, and welcome back to another video, another review. Hope you enjoyed my review slash epic rant. Hope you guys can hear me. Make sure the quality's good in the video. Just make sure it's good. My review slash epic rant on Craven the Hunter. Just wearing my YouTube shirt. Remember, my channel's name is Levi McNally93 with a mass profile picture on it. Keep on subscribing, guys. 350 subs. That's not a lot, but we're gonna get there. Because I'm not quitting YouTube anytime, guys. Remember, if you don't see me on YouTube sometimes, sometimes just busy in life in general. Sometimes life just Yeah. And this is just a hobby. It's not a job. I mean, I would like to get paid for YouTube one day. Maybe you do PayPal requests. That'd be awesome. But for now, I can only do this as a hobby. I have to work and make money. So anyway, don't forget to subscribe. And all you can also share my channel. Share it on your Facebook page, your Facebook story. I do appreciate that a lot. If you do, also recommend it to your friends, family, coworkers. I appreciate it. You know, share my channel. Tell people about my channel. I'd appreciate that. Spread the word. All right. Anyway. What I've been doing, guys, on on my new channel here is a superhero marathon. I've been doing what I call the 2020s era superhero reviews, and we are now pretty much finishing up these superhero movie reviews. Yes, I only have yeah. Now I'm on the year we're living in now, 2025. Yes, it's been the 2020s era superhero reviews, starting with the year 2020 to 2025, which is the year we're living in now. I know what we got. Almost enough. Well, last day of September, we got what? 3 months left of before January gets here. Yeah, 3 months left. But I'll be done way before then. Way before then. This week and next week. So it's just three movies, just three 2025 movies. Neither will be Superman or the new Fantastic Four movie. Fantastic Four, Fan Four Stickish. I'm just kidding. First Steps, I'm just making fun of it. First Steps. Yeah, I will not be reviewing those. Or the new Batman DC animated film that came out this month, I think. Yeah, direct to video. Just three films. And again, you guys know I go by years and months with my videos. Yeah, years a month count too, yes. Because even if the movie came out the same year, they came out in different months. But this movie came out this year in 2025. It came out on Valentine's Day. This film is a continuation of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. This is the fourth film in this series, starting with the first Avenger, the Winter Soldier, and Civil War, and now this movie. And it's the 35th film in the MCU, starring Anthony Mackie, starring Harrison Ford. That is Captain America: Brave New World. Yes, this is my first time watching this movie. And to be honest, my first thoughts, well, this is a full review, so I didn't like this movie. Now, this ain't gonna be full, this will be a rant, so, but not a full blown epic rant, because I'm just mixed on this movie. It's just, I was disappointed with this. Honestly, I just don't care about Marvel anymore. Deadpool Wolverine was awesome. I think after Deadpool Wolverine, I'm just not gonna care to see any more Marvel movies. I doubt I like Thunderbolts or the new Fantastic Four movie or Avengers Doomsday, Civil War. I don't care, to be honest. I just don't give a crap. They should have stopped after Endgame. You know, even more previous Marvel movies I've been reviewing. I said Deadpool Wolverine was great. Previous ones though, some were good but not great. Eternals sucked. Eternals is still the worst. But if I had to pick some of the worst MCU movies, I put this up there with Iron Man 3 because I didn't like the story. Eternals is still the worst MCU film ever. This is not nowhere near as awful as that. At least it's not that long like that movie is. Oh my gosh, that movie was long. But still, I thought this movie sucked. I didn't care for it at all. There were some things I probably liked, but it didn't work as a film for me. You know, yeah, and I'll get to why. Excuse me. But for production, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige said in October 2015, Captain America Civil War was the conclusion of the Captain America trilogy starring Chris Evans. After the first Avenger Winter Soldier, Civil War was Evans' last contract standalone Captain America film, but he was open to extending his contract beyond the Marvel Cinematic Universe crossover film Infinity War and Endgame. Evans was reportedly close to signing a deal to return as Rogers at least in one project. Evans' involvement was said to be similar to how fellow MCU star Robert Downey Jr. had supporting roles as Tony Stark Iron Man in the MCU films from the Iron Man trilogy. Evans said that the report was news to him. I don't know if that's all true, if Marvel were like done with him or whatever. Yeah, but chapter 2018 though. Marvel Studios was developing a limited series with Anthony Mackie coming back as Sam Wilson Falcon, Sebastian Stan coming back as Bucky, Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier, the Falcon and Winter Soldier. August Miller was hired to write the series. Was announced as the Falcon Winter Soldier series. After Rogers his shield gives a shield in the mantle of Captain America to Wilson in Endgame, the series shows Wilson accepting the mantle and coming to terms with the implications of that as a black man. Before the series premiered, Maggie said there has been no discussions regarding a second season, and he was unsure when he would next appear in the MCU film because of the COVID-19 pandemic, which happened at the time. Series director Curtis Scott was also unsure whether there would be a second season, saying she told the story she wanted in the first season, but there was more stories and characters to explore if a second was made. Nate Moore said the series had evergreen topics that lent themselves to further exploitation and set up ideas for potential second season. Feige said that there were ideas for another one, but Marvel intended for the series to be leading to an MCU film, as they did with WandaVision. After the series finale, The Falcon was Soldier, One World, One People was released, Spillman and series writer Dylan Moss revealed to be writing a fourth Captain America film that continues Wilson's story. Rob Edwards was the original writer for the film. Edwards would return as Rogers was impacted to come into a different project. Mikey was unaware of any plans for a film or second season, but he was excited to see what happened next and said it would be monumental for him to headline the film's in MCU film as a black actor. Mikey negotiated a deal to star in the film on next month, officially signed in August. First of all, I want to say I do like him as an actor. He's a great actor. Anthony Mackie, he is. Yeah, and this is not the first black superhero movie ever. I like Black Panther movies more than this. That's just me. I like First Blade movies. Yeah, more than this. Julian Ahn was hired to direct the film in July 2022. After meeting Moore and co-producer Ken Davison, in which they discussed character themes tune, they were championed for Feige, and Mackie was about actress Tiffany Spencer, who starred in the film Lucy. Spencer is included in special thanks of the film's credits. Step at the time on join. He said it was always going to be Sam Wilson's story. Wilson would not be conflicted about being Captain America. The question has been resolved. Sam is our Captain America now. Well, I'm sorry, I disagree with that. Your Captain America was just one. That was Steve Rogers. Yeah, only Steve. The characters Sam Stearns and Thaddeus Ross were first introduced in the second MCU film, Incredible Hulk. They're also set to reappear. The inclusion of Stearns was one of the reasons Hunter was interested in the film, showing that someone who operates from the intellect will be a good adversary for Wilson. Oda was drawn to the relationship between Wilson and Ross, between Wilson and Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon, was introduced as the Falcon One Soldier. Further developed the film with Spellman and Musson. They also learned Linda Wilson's relationship with another Falcon One Soldier character, Isaiah Bradley. Felt that their relationships were to Wilson's journey in the film. Isaiah's grandson Eli was included in early versions of the script, but was removed due to the large number of characters in the film and the focus on other relationships. Notice that the combination of Wilson, Ross, and Stearns led to the film's thriller tone, with elements of Panera thrillers, political thrillers, and action thriller, described as more grounded than some of its recent MCU films, closer to the tone of Winter Soldier. That's another issue I have with this movie, but I'll get to that a while later. It's too many comparisons to that movie. The filmmakers were intending to bring back Stan for a scene where Barnes and Wilson together, but this was kept until the film's release secret. They said there's no way we're going to completely divorce these two characters from each other as a Falcon and Winter Soldier. Different places in the film were considered before they settled on one moment Barnes' emotional support for Wilson later in the film. Another element planned before Storm with the Severance Society, a group of snake-themed villains from the comics. They paid off a joke Marvel made years earlier when announcing that third Captain America film as Severance Society before it had to be Civil War. More acknowledged that the team can come across as goofy, but he considered the theme to be part of Captain America's Hall of Fame of villain groups and wanted to treat them seriously. They said their challenge in developing the film was trying to different elements of the tone. Hinted that despite the connections to the Incredible Hulk and the Falcon Winter Soldier, they wanted the film to work on its own. Maggie said the viewers do not have to see the Incredible Hulk to watch the film. Can only a reset of the MCU that establishes new themes and tags for the universe moving forward. Said it was reported to call back the Incredible Hulk as part of Russ's story, but he wanted these to be revealed through Wilson's point of view. Later in 2022, July, San Diego Comic Con, the film started to be Captain America Brave New World, given a release date of May 3rd, 2024. The subtitle was also the name of the first episode of Falcon Soldier. It was noted for its use in politics, professional wrestling, conspiracy theories. Danny Richmond as Joaquin and Carl Lumpy responding to their roles from the Falcon Soldier. Tim Blake Nelson as Samuel Jones, returning from the Incredible. I'm talking about from the Incredible Hulk. Liv Tyler comes back, but in a cameo scene as Betty Ross as Betty from the Incredible Hulk 2008. Samuel Stern, he was Samuel. I mean, Tim Blake Nelson, great actor, was returned to Samuel Stern from the Incredible Hulk. The announcement that Superhuman will be adapted for the film led to criticism for some people who believe this would lead to negative stereotypes. As a comic series, I remember the Mossad and some of the characters she interacts with are like violent. The name Zipper has also different meanings to Jews and Puritans. Overstreet said that the film was taking a new approach for the character, just as other had been reimagined for modern audiences when brought into the MCU. This led to concerns from other groups that Marvel was erasing the character's background. And in the film, the character is a former Black Widow and high-ranking U.S. government named Ruth. The name Zipper is not used. There was Munich Moss, Asia, but the character is depicted as first-generation Israel. The character's conclusion: some boys boycott the film due to the gas of war. Some supporters of Israel took issue with the character having U.S. government. Harrison Ford does come into this movie playing you know, Thaddeus Ross, you know, because William Hurt passed away in 2022. William Hurt was in The Incredible 2008, and what else was he in? Captain America Civil War, Infinity War. They played for Ross to transform into Red Hulk in the film. Representing the character's history of haunting for Bruce Banner Hulk. Turning a guy who haunted Hulk into a Hulk himself makes him more than an antagonist. It makes him a tragic character. They informed Hurt of the plans to have Ross become Red Hulk. Had been eager to betray the aspect of the character. They started changing course with Ross's role in the film following Hurt's death, believing no actor would want to take over from him. The other time, Ford reached out to Feige about possibly joining the MCU and agreed to take on the role without seeing a script. Ford saw playing Ross as an opportunity to honor what Hurt had done with the character that he had enjoyed from the previous films. In the film, Ross becomes the President of the United States and finds himself at odds with Wilson about a global conspiracy. They drew inspiration to the 1974 comic book storyline Secret Empire. Wilson wears a costume featuring the colors of the American flag, was facing off with the U.S. president. The film story was about the notion of the guy who believes in an ideal. So always held up to the same standards by other people. The comparison that Ford's film Declaring President Danger, where he was Jack Ryan, features a similar conspiracy involving the president, which I think that's a better movie. And, Harrison Ford played the president before in a movie, Air Force One from 1997, co-starring with Gary Oldman and Wendy Crewson and Crewson, I think her name is, yeah, and William H. Macy. Marvel Studios was supportive of this, likely joking about only trying to save America with the film. Pre-production began in Atlanta, Georgia. I heard this movie had a lot of reshoots too. Costume designers to be specific about how they used the color red in the film, putting in many scenes to make the appearance of Red Hulk at the end of the film more impactful. Red is used in earlier scenes, chaos, while blue tones represent peacefulness and sense of things being under control. Avery, who worked on the MCU films Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Spider-Man Homecoming, said there was intended film to be more grounded in reality than recent MCU films. He said it was important. Ohene and Avij, the film will like taking place in the current space. Maggie's Captain America costume was redesigned from the one seen in Falcon Winter Soldier, which was based on the mostly white costume that Wilson is known for wearing as Captain America in the comics. The new costume for the Brave New World is mostly dark blue, with red, white, and Asian blues. Filming began on March 21st, 2023 in Atlanta, Georgia. Trilith Studios. The film was rated under the working title Rochelle, the purpose of the television series Seinfeld. They went the action scenes to be grounded and tactical and giving Wilson things to do that were not seen in previous films. The series had changed title after receiving feedback over the rephrased New World Order, so Brave New World. Others said Washington D.C. was an important location for the film because it was where Ross is based at the present. U.S. This is where Wilson was first introduced to the MCU and were soldier, close to Isaiah's home, Baltimore, Maryland. The cherry blossom trees DC are featured throughout the film, including during Wilson's climatic fight with Red Hulk. Instead of in May, though, they had Deadpool and Wolverine come out instead. Yeah, the 2023 writer strike going on, whatever that was. Jeanette Espo joined the film as Sin Winner, leader of the Servant Society, during reshoots that began in May 2024. Megan characterized the reshoots as just adding a few additional scenes to enhance the film instead of no retelling or remaking. The reshoots were focused on creating the perfect political thriller tone. He believed the actor made the film more grounded despite it heightened. Similar to his role in the television series The Mandalorian. Ford and also participated in the reshoots. Wilson is warned about the coming threats from the multiverse, basically into Avengers. Along the film introduction for metal antimonium to the MCU. Yeah. The original design for Sam Stone's about the character's appearance. It was one of the main changes to the film during its research, which is stupid. I really hate the look of the character. This is the original look right here. And this other picture this way looks in the movie. Yeah, I prefer this look. That look is more scary. But I guess maybe they said, well, we're going to scare kids, so we can't do that. At least have some balls. Some of the visual effects were provided by Woody Effects, Limo Pictures. FX designed Red Hulk with Weddit's visual effects. They did not want the character to just look like a color version of the Hulk. They hope to make him more intimidating than the Hulk. Yeah. For the music of the film, though, Laura Corbin, she does the music of the film. Is that a lady? Okay, yeah. Anyway, for the marketing, though, yeah, for the marketing of the film, though, they had like American Family Insurance. Yeah, Academy Award to support that to market the movie with, as you see, Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie in his suit in that scene in that commercial. Uh, McDonald's gave out toys for the movie. Yeah, yeah, McDonald's gave out toys for the movie. Yeah, so McDonald, helped promote the movie as well. And the movie had like for shaving cream, Barbasol. Yeah, you had the pictures of Red Hulk on it, Captain America. I'm gonna say Falcon, and then the new Falcon. Yeah, pictures of all of them and the shaving creams. Yeah, but there's your marketing. And for the cast of the movie, you have Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, Captain America. I'm gonna call him. I'm not calling him Captain America. I'm calling him Falcon still. I don't care if he was in the comics, Captain America. To me, that's Steve Rogers. He can continue Steve's legacy by not taking the name Captain America. I'm like, no. You might take the shield, but you're not Captain America. Anthony Malcolm Mackie, I liked him in movies. Well, he was in 8 Mile, Hollywood Homicide. I remember him being good in that. Oh, let's see. That's also a Harrison Ford movie with Josh Hartnett, which I like that movie more than this. It's just me, Eagle Eye. Remember him being good in that. Also, a movie called With The Rock and Mark Wahlberg. I liked him in Pain and Gain. Yeah, he was good in that. And his first time playing the character was Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and he played the character in Avengers: of Ultron, the first Ant-Man movie, having a fight with Paul Rudd, character Ant-Man, and come back in Captain America: Civil War, and Infinity War and Endgame. Yeah. for this movie. And of course, he's on responsible role in Avengers Doomsday, which is in post production right now. Danny Rittman as Joaquin Phoenix, Falcon, which he's not Falcon. He was in Top Gun Maverick. I'm sure he was good in that. In here, I didn't really care for him though. He annoyed me. Shira Hess as Ruth is a former Black Widow. I did not care for this actress. I was not a fan of her. Sorry. Carl Lumbly as Isaac Bradley. Carl Lumbly, let's see. He did TV shows like Elias. Was that was with Jennifer Gardner? Let's see. Oh, he voiced the Martian Manhunter in the DC animated universe. Yeah, voicing John Jones in that in the Justice League cartoon, I believe. And he played Myron Jones, John Jones' father, in Supergirl. And he was in an episode of NCIS Los Angeles. Let's see. If I look up TV shows, let's see. I know I'm right. Come on. Oh yeah, Justice League. Okay, I'm right. Yep. He was great in that. And Justice League Unlimited as well. What's the character once again? Yeah, a really good actor. Justice League Doom. He voiced Martian Manhunter. Came back to do the voice of that in 2012. In Batman vs. Superman Sub-Zero, he did additional voice for that. So he's worked with DC now. He's working with Marvel now. As soon as Romanoff as Leah Taylor, a Secret Service agent. I guess she has a history with Wilson, so she's a romantic interest for him, which they don't do nothing with. She was in Space Jam: New Legacy. Yay. Jeanette Epstein as Seth Vogel, Sidewinder. The leader summoned a violent special ops team. Let's see, this actor was in Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Says he was in The Mandalorian. He's like a really good actor too, but I don't like what they did with him here. It's not him I don't want. He was in Maximum Overdrive, School Days, some movies in the '80s, Do the Right Thing, and The Mandalorian. Son of Batman, he voiced Ra's al Ghul. He voiced Black Spider and Batman Serpent Arkham, so he's worked with DC as well. Jungle Book, oh yeah, I remember he voiced Aquila, who was the wolf that was leader of the wolf tribe. Yeah. I mean, in Mayhem, he voiced Baxter Stockman. Liv Tyler as Bay Ross coming back, but more just a cameo. Liv Tyler, I remember her in movies like she was in Empire Records, which I've never seen, but I do remember her in that Thing You Do. She was gorgeous in that, and The Incredible Hulk The Incredible Hulk, and with Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck in Armageddon. I like that film. Says she was also appeared from some of the Lord of the Rings films, but beautiful actress. And Reign Over Me with Adam Sandler, Don Cheadle, War Machine from the MCU, James Rhodes. Yeah, but Reign Over Me, she was great in that as well. Beautiful actress. I wish they gave Betty more to do. I'd rather have her be a main character than the other woman who I didn't care for. Timbaland and Nelson as Samuel Stearns. He was about just accidentally contaminated with Banner's blood in Incredible Hulk. If you remember when he helped Emil Blonsky turn into the Abomination, he just said he comes exposed, and that's how he becomes this way. But I think the result was disappointing. He was in movies like A Brother We're Out There with George Clooney. I know the actor's name. Damn it, really, John Toretto. Okay, I'm sorry, John Toretto. Yeah, and in Minority Report, he was in that. Scooby-Doo Two Monsters Unleashed. He was Jonathan Jacobo. Yeah, and he was in Holes, the Disney movie Holes, from 2003 with Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, Shia LaBeouf, whatever. But I like Tim Blake Nelson as an actor. Yeah, he's a good actor. My brother, We're All Dale, he was real funny in that. He's a good actor though. Harrison Ford as Thaddeus Ross, the newly elected president of the United States, who wants to work with Captain America. He was a U.S. Army General and then U.S. Secretary of State in the MCU. Harrison Ford, you should know him from Star Wars, Indiana Jones, you know, and of course Cowboys and Aliens, What Lies Beneath, Air Force One, Patriot Games. He's one of the greatest actors of all time. The Fugitive, great in that film. Yeah, I think he's worked with Disney before. I think. Oh no, that wasn't Disney. I'm sorry. Call of the Wild, that wasn't Disney. I'm sorry. But yeah, Harrison Ford's done quite a bit of movies. He's a great actor. know, Sebastian Stan refers his role from New Series of Bucky Barnes. He first played the character in First Avenger, then the Winter Soldier, and then had a small part at the end of Black Panther 2018, the first Black Panther movie. Barnes is compared to be Congressman. Think of his role in the film Thunderbolts, which I know I'm probably going to hate that movie more than this. And it's directed by Julius Onan. Directed films like The Girls in Trouble with the Clover Field Paradox Loose, which I have never seen, and I really probably wouldn't care to see. Why is this movie? Okay, first of all, you got one, two, three, four. Why do we have five writers? Yeah, like Rob Edwards. I'm like, why do we have to have five people? Like he worked in Disney films like Treasure Planet, The Princess and the Frog. The freak is he doing working in this movie? Yeah, let's go write another Disney animated film, dude. He worked on the TV show Malcolm Spellman worked on a show called Empire, starring Terrence Howard, who also was in the MCU, the first Iron Man movie. You know, Our Family Wedding, Dylan Motion, and the Red Dead Surprises movie. He also worked on Captain America: New World and The Coming Race. Peter Lance, yeah, who doesn't seem like a writer to me. I guess it says he's a British American writer. But I'm sorry, some of these writers, I mean, Rob Edwards, who like I said, wrote the script for Treasure Planet, which I think is underrated, and I love The Princess and the Frog and Treasure Planet. They're great Disney films, better than this movie. But honestly, these writers don't know how to do a superhero movie. I'm sorry. All y'all did, the writing. I'll get to that later. So the story's by them as well, by Rob Edwards and Malcolm Spellman and Dylan Musson. It's based on Marvel Comics. Produced by Kevin Feige. He's been producing these movies since the first Iron Man movie. He's also going to be producing. He also produced Thunderbolts that came this year and the Fantastic Four First Steps. And next year he's also going to be producing Spider-Man: Brand New Day and Avengers: Doomsday. Other movies that are not superhero films was Volcano with Tom Lee Jones, a disaster film. You've Got Mel with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. And the first two X-Men movies, or three, sorry, Fantastic Four, Punisher Warzone. Some of the anime stuff like Hulk vs. Wolverine and Thor. Thor Says About Scott, The Amazing Spider-Man. He does the review of that. And Daredevil with Ben Affleck. Probably both cuts. And cinematography by Kramer Martin, like Creed 2 and Thor the Dark World, another MCU movie. Terminator Genesis, edited by Matthew Schmidt. He's edited other MCU films like The Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, and Black Widow, and Thor Love and Thunder. Contact from 1997, The 13th Warrior, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, Collateral Damage with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I, Robot with Will Smith, Into the Blue with late Paul Walker, The Fog remake starring Tom Welling, and Iron Man 3, and the first Avengers movie. Music is by Laura Portman. Music score. I'm trying to see here. Sorry. The Marvels. She did some music for that. Production company is Marvel Studios. Distributed by Walt Disney Studios. Motion Pictures. It was released February 14, 2025. This year on Valentine's Day. February this year it came out. It is 118 minutes long. The film was 1 hour and 58 minutes long. Budget was $180 million. Box was made $415.1 million worldwide. Yeah, it got its world premiere at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood, Los Angeles on February 11th of this year. The film received mixed reviews from critics for its story, connections to the MC projects, and visual effects. Particularly, though, of Mackie Ford, the reviews got praised. Yeah, the critics were divided from stories. Yeah, it was unfavorable, negative, and mixed to negative, which I can understand why. Yeah. One critic said the change of Sam's suits, which from blue to silver, is sell more toys. And the suit does look really cool in the show, which I haven't seen, but they change it. Okay, said the White House fight scene was so cheap and cheesy that it was never to be taken seriously. Stearns caused a hearty guffaw because of the poor makeup and prosthetics. The other role in the CGI of the film was worse than the Incredible Hulk. Incredible Hulk is a lot better. Richard Rubber said that this was a far better work than recent MCU. I disagree. Have you seen Deadpool and Wolverine? Richard Rubber. That was a better movie than this. Yeah. Maggie said he wanted to continue sharing Whistle for around 10 years, and he will be in the original. But I doubt this one gets sequel. From what I heard, that this one was not a huge success. Yeah, it made $415.1 million, but according to Disney, though, Marvel, you got to make more than that. You got to be 500, 800, $900 million. It's got to be a huge success. And I wouldn't call this film a huge success. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I don't care how far the film was pushed. From what I heard in America, it didn't do that great. Yeah. And it's also the start of Phase 5, or part of Phase 5, whatever. Yeah. Okay, forget it, you stupid thing. Alright, anyway, I'm going to talk about the plot synopsis of the movie. This is my first time watching the movie, so bear with me. And if you have not seen Captain America Brave New World, guys, or the other Captain America movies, I have not seen Falcon and Winter Soldier, and at this point, I really don't give a crap to see it, but I will eventually. This is one of the Marvel shows I do want to talk about. Yeah, this gets a 46% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's, I'll say, above average for this movie. But anyway, with the story of the film is that Sam Wilson, aka Falcon, the new Captain America, finds himself in the middle of an international incident, a conspiracy, after meeting with President Thaddeus Ross, who has been the nemesis. He's disagreed with him. He put Sam in jail in Civil War and has been after Bruce Banner the Hulk for years. He's been at odds with the heroes, with the Avengers for many years. Anyway, because he wants to talk to him about something. So he must soon discover the reason behind the global plot. Before the true mastermind, who we saw in the Incredible Hulk, has the entire world seeing red. And so Sam has to find out what's going on in this conspiracy, and he has to find out who the real bad guy is, the real culprit is. It's really a political thriller. This is completely a rip off of Winter Soldier. This movie's just Winter Soldier Part 2. And that was the idea. Like I just read. I believe what I just read. You can tell by watching this film. But that's the plot synopsis for you. And again, if you've not seen Captain America Brave New World, turn the review off right now, please. If you got Disney Plus, watch it. Uh, if you want to, not spoil it for yourself. Yeah. So again, this film for me was just a rip off Winter Soldier. It's just aggravating. But anyway, let's get to the movie itself, and I'll give you my final thoughts and opinion on Captain America: Brave New World. So let's get to it. So, for the opening of the movie, you see Thaddeus Ross, played by Harrison Ford now, because again, William Hurt, who was in these films, some of these movies, like I mentioned before, had to wait until 2022. Yeah. And I don't mind Harrison Ford in this movie. Honestly, I didn't thought he gave that great performance. It did like he was just phoning in most of the time. That's just my opinion, folks. Don't take it personal. But if I want to see him play the president, I'll just go watch Air Force One, because that movie has a better story, in my opinion, better action too. Regarding the Duel of Harlem, he owes his Patriot Space 16 years later, promising a means to overcome global threats. That's what he wants to do, and he's gonna be a better man. Ross. They talk about the Duel of Harlem with Banner's Hulk and the Abomination. They got to that fight. He got a lot of crap for that. Selma Strunk gets arrested and put in jail thanks to Ross. Yeah, Ross has his issues with the Adventures of the Years. But honestly, you see one scene of him talking, and honestly, he looks silly with a beard. Maybe before he's probably had some beers before, but I never liked Harrison with a beard. Indiana Jones, I don't mind it, but him with a mustache, the 30s Ross mustache, that looks silly to me. It looks better on Sam Elliott and William Hurt himself, but it looks funny on him. I'm like, no, yeah, remove the mustache. I'm glad when he's going to win the election, he had to take that mustache. Yeah, because you put crap in mustache. I'm sorry. You know, looks goofy on you. So in the year 2027, he sends Sam Wilson and Lieutenant Joaquin Torrance, none of their mantles owns Captain American Falcon, on a mission. And I will admit, Sam's suit, I think it's fine. It's fine. That's weird for me to say, but his suit's cool. He's got the vibranium. Even though Captain America, he still's got his wings. So to me, he's still Falcon. He just, you know, fights these guys off. It's pretty decently fight, but it reminds me of Winter Soldier a little bit. Well, first we didn't get that though in the opening. I guess we had to open up with a story, and oh yeah, we see Sam in a bar. I'm like, really? We had to see him in a freaking bar? I mean, we see Captain America run in the Winter Soldier. We see him having to run and meet Sam, which is very dumb. But what is the point of him being in a bar just watching the news? I'm like, just get me to the good stuff afterwards. I don't need Thaddeus's stuff. Take all that stuff. Just have him be present. I don't need to know the history. I've seen the Incredible Hulk. This movie shoves a lot of the Incredible Hulk stuff in there, in your face. But you see him go and he prepares to fight these guys. He fights these guys. And I thought that was pretty cool, pretty decently. But I still say Winter Soldier did it better, and Cap Suit's much cooler. Winter Soldier has a lot better action than this, in my opinion. Yeah, some of it was quick handling, but again, Captain America, he's a super soldier, so it's really fast. And some reason, Sam didn't take the serum. If you're gonna be Captain America, dude, super soldier, you probably should take the serum of your Yeah, but he fights their leader. Well, he fights this big guy, and I thought, it was a pretty decent fight. When he's fighting this huge guy, though, I thought it was funny. He's like, we need to hurry get this done. I got shit to do. I thought that was funny. I didn't find Joaquin funny. I didn't like his new Falcon. His suit looked like a rip off of Batman suit. He looks like how, his suit looks like he was from Halo, whatever, trying to rip off Halo. His suit looked like crap for this Falcon. He was annoying. He shoots some guys down. He knocks some guys down. He gets the canteen they need or whatever. They get this antimanium, which the president, President Ross needs them to get. He gets it. He's like, "Woo! You see me shoot those guys down?" I'm like, "Shut up, you idiots!" I'm like, that annoyed me. So Captain America storms it. He fights the leader, Seth Roger, for a little bit. Go named Sidewinder. They're trying to get, who's the buyer for this. So he voices the operator like I mentioned before. Yeah. And later on, they're after they beat these bad guys and they got what they needed. You know, Ross visits his late wife grave. They tell you about his daughter Betty, who doubts that he reformed. Him and Betty have their issues, which she said in the Incredible, "I'll never forgive you for what you done to him." You know, for what her father did, building the monster abomination. Tura asks Wilson for training, so he takes him to Isaiah Bradley, Baltimore. Bradley, he was a super soldier back in the day as well, back in the 80s or something like that, whatever. They try to joke around with it. Some of the humor does not work, was either irritating. Carl Lumby, he's trying. It's great to see him in here. The voice of Martian Manhunter himself in here. But Wilson gets a call from Ross. And Ross is, I guess Ross did some stuff to Carl Lumby's character as well, to Isaiah Bradley. But he invites them over to dinner. Not to dinner, but just to come to the White House for this grand opening event or whatever. He says something to talk about, and he's inviting them. So they get there, they get some pictures, take a selfie. there's this woman there, this black woman, I forget her name. I don't really care. Yeah, I didn't really remember her character, but her and Wilson had a past. You think it's a love interest, but it goes nowhere. They do nothing with it. I'm like, okay, this is just kind of forced in, making you think oh, they're gonna fall in love, but no. So anyway, Sam goes talk to the president, goes talk to Ross. So I know we had our differences in the past, but we need to talk about this. He talks about that he wants to set the new Avengers up, but they'd be working for him. Sam was like, "Wow, that came out of nowhere." Sam was not really so sure about it because of what if there's an incident that comes up and they don't disagree, they don't agree with each other. So he opens up to the people. The president has Ross has a meeting. It's a summit. He believes that the team will be good. Because remember Ross in 2016 in Civil War, Ross tried to make them sign a paper to be monitored. They didn't agree with it. And what he wants to do is, you know, the Japanese sample of antimatter taking over. He wants to share it around the nations. And he's talking about this. All of a sudden, Isaiah Bradley comes to attack, gets up, attacks a guard. I mean, he's super soldier, so he's got pretty much good strength. Attacks the guy, tries to shoot the president, tries to assassinate the president. It doesn't work. He runs away, jumps out the window. Sam chases him down there, and he gets arrested. And he just said, if you're a super soldier, which he is a super soldier, I mean, dude, you just took it out of an army. People were trying to attack you. It was a crappy fight scene, really bad editing. But he runs away. He just gives up. I'm like, why not just run? I mean, being a super soldier, I don't care about his age. He should be able to run fast. If super soldier ages, they probably still have the ability to run fast. Because as soon as Steve became Captain America, I know it's different. In the first Avenger, he was able to run like real quick. Like he could just run out of New York if he wanted to. Yeah. But he gets caught and arrested, and Ross tells him, "You're out of here. Your friend screwed up. This negotiation, it's not gonna look good. You're done." You know. Then he's got that woman, the Black Widow, Ruth, who I didn't care for. I found her character was annoying. She looked like, a bad revolt Dorothy from Wizard of Oz, like the ugly version. I'm sorry, I just didn't like her. Call me mean, but I did not like her character that much. Yeah. Go back to Kansas Dorothy is what I wanted to say to her. Ruth tries to him, but not to do it. But even though that is, Ross tells him, don't be involved in this. You're done. You're finished. Get out of here. Leave. Yeah. So he, of course, does it anyway. Yeah. But Bradley's incarcerated in prison. He tries to talk to him. He's like, why'd you do it? He's like, just don't tell me, Sam. Just don't be involved in this. This is my fault. I made a mistake. I deserve to be in here. But he's like, I'm not gonna stop. You're my friend. I'm gonna help you out. He wants him to stay out of it. But Wilson calls Torres. They get White House CCTV footage. So they discover that, as he's like looking on his phone, kind of reminded me of the movie Get Out, where they're looking out, Flash. Yeah, like it's mind control. And there was other assassins too, trying to shoot the president. Wilson gets ambushed by Sidewinder. This scene reminded me of Winter Soldier, which was done better twice, by the way. Where when Samuel Jackson, where we knew it was Hydra, we found out where that Hydra was taking over Shield and trying to take over the world, and they were compromised. And Sam Jackson does it more of a badass way. Yeah, and then Captain America when Cap fought Winter Soldier, the car chase scene. There's two scenes with car chases and the fight scene on the road. Twice we see in that movie. A lot more action in that movie, more interesting to watch. Yeah. But so I wonder, it just, he tries to shoot at Sam. Sam throws a hammer. Oh, then when they fight, which is really unrealistic. I know you can say it's just a movie. Yes, I know movies not realism. I know movies are fake. I know they're not real. But the thing is, he stabs Sam. He's got a knife, and he stabs Sam like right in the chest, stabs him right in the gut right here. And Sam just walks from it okay. He didn't take the super soldier serum. He's just a normal guy like you and me, normal person like you and me. So he gets stabbed twice. I mean, I would think realistically, if you got stabbed twice, one in your chest and one in your arm, you'd be like, I'm out. But no, Sam just takes it off, throws a hammer so stupidly, and Sidewinder thought his reaction was pretty funny. And then he knocks him out, throws it at him, and then Sidewinder, I'm like, really? And badly edited fight. These fights just going for way too short. The action scenes, like I said in the beginning, it's decent, but everything goes by so fast with the action scenes, you might as well blink and miss it. But he gets a call from Samuel Stern, but who we find out later is the leader, and he says, "You don't know what's coming soon, Captain." He's like, "What? Who is this?" And he hangs up. So Wilson goes back to home, back to his base or whatever. Yeah. So Ross goes home. They decide to go into this building to investigate. They have like a lead or whatever. And again, he got stabbed, and he just kind of put it down. It's like, okay, he doesn't end up in the hospital or anything. I mean, Sam Jackson was attacked in a car in Winter Soldier, and he ended up in the hospital. I mean, Nick Fury can be a badass. Don't get me wrong, but if he got hurt or injured, he's human. He ended up in the hospital. That was more realistic than this. Mm-hmm. Heck, even there's scenes where Captain America could get knocked out of heart or have a broken arm or be screwed up. Got trapped in ice for 70 years, so he's not immortal. Even Captain America can get hurt sometimes. You know, bloody or bruised, but not this Captain America. Not maybe until the end of the climax, but no, he's nearly invincible in here. You just stab him with a knife, cut him with a knife, put a knife in his chest. He'll be okay. But anyway, Ross reassures the Prime Minister that Japanese will join the treaty, and Ross, you find out, is taking these pills, which is really lame how they did it. I'm like, okay, he's taking these red pills because he had like then issue a heart attack or whatever, whatever. And this is what turns him into the Red Hulk. Spoiler alert: he's taking these damn pills. I'm like, if he was feeling this way, he doesn't. I know Ross has an ego of being a military soldier, and military soldiers aren't gonna admit when they're hurt. They gotta toughen up, be a man. But if you're not, if you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling pain. The scenes where he's stressed out by stressful situations, where he's getting angry. He nearly gets angry on a submarine. Just because Samuel Stern's character is talking to his head and getting in their skin. Why not have these pills tested? Yeah. But we don't have Bruce Banner in here, like they should. They don't know about Banner at all. And I think in the comics, the leader's like one of the, yeah, I think remember Leader and the Incredible Hulk anime series. He was done better, looked much better than, yeah, and this is the look of the leader. I hate this design. This is not creepy. He looks like an ugly broccoli head, Well, he's a broccoli. Looks like his head is shaped out of broccoli or whatever. Looks like it to me. It looks like crap to me. The makeup is terrible, in my opinion. So Wilson, they track his last call to a camp in this bank, West Virginia. They fight. They sneak in there. This reminded me like when Cap and Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, Chris Evans, when they find Dr. Zola. I forget the other name, but the doctor that worked for Red Skull. Find that Hydra's been taking Shield over for many years. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of that because we see the main bad guy that is, Ross. He's like that. Ross put him in jail for years. They ruined his life, so he gets his power as the leader. They don't even call him the leader here. They just call him, Stearns, and Stearns got these military men that he's got under control to attack them. He uses this weapon kind of like if Superman 3 got shot by kryptonite, kind of like something like a sound beam to weaken him. Like, why not just have these men beat the crap out of him instead? or just shoot him up. But no, but then get the whole thing with the electricity. That reminds me of Black Widow a little bit. A little bit of Captain America getting shocked a little. I think in one of them Z films, yeah, I'm like, you know. So he fights them off. Samuel Stern gets away from the building. Ross is in Tokyo, Japan, and he realizes Samuel Stern has something to do with it. Samuel Stern gives him a call and tells him, "I'm gonna get revenge on you." Also, the Japanese president says he won't work with them, and what Stern's trying to do is start a war. He's trying to ruin his life. He wants to destroy his legacy. Yeah. Then the Black Widow goes for she fights them, which didn't really care for that. Then these cops show up to arrest him, and the FBI gets controlled by him, and they have to escape from the FBI. Yeah. Sidewinder gets detained. Sidewinder also tells Falcon, I'm sorry, Cap, even though I prefer to call him Sam, tells him about that after he made a deal with him. That turns out for revenge. Tells him all the details from that info, and then he's like, you know, don't escape jail. You stay in jail. I'll come after you. If you don't, he's like, well, Cap, when I do, come after me. And that's the last time we see him. Sidewinder would seem like a pretty cool villain, but why couldn't he just be one of the main villains here? But no, he just had to be the secondary antagonist. Secondary antagonist. Who's better than the main villain himself? In my opinion. Sidewinder forms Wilson also turns plots to incite U.S. and Japan tensions and tarnish Ross's legacy. He wants to start a war. Wilson's military friend, Dennis Dumpney, warns him of Ross's approaching the island on the U.S. So they go there. Ross is like, "What are y'all doing here?" Ross is a bit under stress. You know, they put their suits on. Ross tells Anthony Mackie that he wants to walk like with flowers or something with his daughter that they walked in a streamline or whatever when she was a little girl. He wants to do that again. He wants to reform his relationship with Betty. He's like, you can have that again, so you just need help. You just need to get yourself under control. But they go fight airplanes. It kind of reminds me of Iron Man a little bit, the first Iron Man movie. Iron Man 2 when they were fighting the machines a little bit. It just kind of did. But, the first Iron Man movie, sorry. But they fight, So the new Falcon, Walkeen, just does something stupid, makes a wrong shot. I did that was a cool moment with when Falcon, Sam with the wings, you know, knocks off one of the wings on the airplane with his sharp wings. That was cool. The flying air is pretty decent. Decent action scene. Like I said, Joaquin stupidly gets himself hurt, and in the water he's down and out. He's in the hospital for the rest of the movie. Yeah. They also tell Ross of his turns to control minds. You know, Turner developed pills to provoke Ross's life and was in turn promised to be freed. I guess because Ross kept him incarcerated as secured the chance of speaking to Betty again. Yeah. Where he's like, I wanted to talk to Betty or something like that. It just scenes I didn't really care about. Rose gets hospitalized. He gets a visit from Bucky Barnes. Bucky, who's a congressman now, I'm like, really? Why couldn't we just have a Falcon and Winter Soldier movie instead? If you can't mistake Steven, why not just have a movie? And I'd rather Bucky be the new Captain America. Yeah, I could see that. Or the Winter Soldier become the new Captain America. That'd be cool. But no, we gotta see Thunderbolts. I'm like, I don't care about him being. Forget Thunderbolts. I don't care about that. And I'm gonna watch that movie, but I'm like, I don't care. Just have them be in their suits. Give me a good story of them fighting bad guys. Why can't it just be that way? Just a simple story. But no, He's just a cameo, and he's wearing a suit. I can't see him like that. I know he killed people, like he did some things because he was brainwashed. Oh yeah, brainwashed. He does mention Bucky a little earlier. Mind control. Winter Soldier was mind control. Remember all those years when he in the 1940s when he thought to be dead, Hydra grabbed him, they mind controlled him, mind fucked him, and he became the Winter Soldier, started killing innocent people over the years, so Hydra could rule over the world or whatever like that. Yeah. So mind control here is nothing new. And they just say the magic word's like a flashlight. That's the magic word's like, when at least Zemo was a smarter villain. I don't think he's that interesting a villain, but he was a hell of a lot smarter than the leader. So the leader goes to this guy's house, kills these people. This shot kind of reminds me of Robert Redford. May he rest in peace. And he passed away, I think, a week ago. Late Robert Redford played Alexander Pierce. He was so much better as a villain. Got his own hands dirty. And Winter Soldier was a better villain than leader. He looked more cooler. And what made him so cool is he caught Cap's shield. This movie is so high on 10 on ripping off Winter Soldier. Action thriller. The action is barely in this movie. It's more boring talking. It's trying to be a political thriller. It's trying to be action thriller at the same time. And it feels like the action scenes, in my opinion, they get short lived. Yeah. You just get the decent thing in the beginning, the cool thing in the beginning when he's fighting. Yeah. So we get Captain Movie with barely Captain America in it. Yay. The Falcon gets taken out like a bitch. Yeah, this new Falcon sucks. His suit sucks. It looks like a bad ripoff of Halo, like he's trying to be Ant Man. Mother effer, you ain't Paul Rudd. You ain't Ant Man. Mm. And the Black Widow girl, Dorothy, looks like Dorothy a little bit. Yeah, I'm just going Dorothy just to make fun of her. I don't give a damn. So Ross has a press conference in D.C. after planning to meet up with Betty. He gets hijacked by Stearns. Who Stearns, this military guy tries to give Sam a warning, I guess, but the leader gives him a heart attack literally. And Stearns turns the machine. Let all your anger out, and it works. And he turns into the Red Hulk. And the CGI for the Red Hulk I thought was terrible. And this is what the big movie set up to be. We see the posters and the trailers, like with the Red Hulk punching the shield, or the Red Hulk in the poster. That only lasted the climax of the movie, and it only lasted for 10 minutes. It didn't last that long. No, it didn't. So he turns into the Red Hulk, you know, gonna like attack these people. Falcon Cap shows up. He knocks out. He hits the White House a little bit, destroys that. Him and Cap fight. Then they have a just fight for a little while there. Then they go to the place of the trees and the flowers that he wants to see with his daughter. Yeah, because this gamma radiation turns into the Red Hulk. So Red Hulk is just shoehorned in here. They probably thought, let's just throw Red Hulk in here. This will get people their butts in the theaters. Yeah. But sadly, you don't get that toward the end of the film. So they have a fight a little bit. He does like cut him a few times, but Red Hulk feels no pain. And of course, he does get some blood. Like, it was like, I'll keep fighting you. I'll keep fighting you. Then he's able to talk him down, like with Black Widow. Sun's getting high, big guy. I'm surprised they didn't rub each other's hands, or just do this, calm down. So Stern gets arrested by the Navy. Stern just gives himself up. Oh, he's so smart. If you're so smart, why did you turn to the Red Hulk? I mean, if this guy's so smart, why didn't you just escape? Why didn't you just kill Ross in the first place? Ruin his legacy, and then get him and Captain Turner. Why not build the whole movie up for him and Sam to have more scenes together? But they had to do reshoots because this film is trying so hard to be Winter Soldier. Yeah, you could have him as president, but forget the political stuff. Maybe turn them against each other. Then turn on the Red Hulk in the middle of the movie, and then Ross runs away, or Ross gets killed, or whatever, dies, or Sam dies, or whatever. You could have just had some balls to do some stuff. Or if you remember Winter Soldier had to fight him, that would be a lot more cooler. You know, having Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'm talking about Sam and Buggy, fight him. That would have been much fucking cooler. You want to talk about a good fight? Have you seen Ultimate Adventures of the movie from 2006? That's a direct-to-video animated film, Marvel film. But at the end of that movie, the Green Hulk, who looks more terrifying, by the way, than this Hulk, Red Hulk, That fight scene is more awesome because the whole Avengers are taking on the Hulk. That was awesome. Ultimate Avengers 2. Great action scenes in there. Yeah. Ultimate Avengers movie was a lot better. You know, so much better than this. So he both talks about Betty, talks about Betty, calms him down. So he gets unfazed. Like I said, this battle didn't even last that long. It's not even that cool. I'm sorry. The fight between in Civil War, the action was much better, made better. At least Captain America, Iron Man, the fight was more personal. Yeah, it was a much better, longer fight. It was more intense. This was not intense. This just felt like a 10-minute fight. You know, you know. That's probably the best fight scene I've ever seen in an MCU movie was the fight between Cap, Winter Soldier, and Iron Man because it was more personal. It made more sense to the story. So Eddie decides to put himself in prison for what he did. Yeah, he gets a visit by Betty. We see beautiful Liv Tyler, but just in a short cameo, saying, "Yeah, Dad, we can hang out again. We'll just be here with you." Yeah. I guess he's gonna be either be quit being prison or just acknowledge his actions, which that is not Ross in the comics. Ross would not acknowledge his actions, but he's more of a tragic villain in a way. But this year, I just didn't care. It just felt like the whole transformation of the Red Hulk was just really rushed, really for shoehorned in here. Yeah. Wilson goes to, Sam goes to visit Joaquin. They just talk and say, "You go visit that studio, man. We're gonna do more training." They just hang out, they're good friends. And the end credits. Then you get as with every MCU movie, you get a post credit scene. Yeah, where he goes talks to Stearns, the leader. And again, they don't call him the leader in the movie. He goes to the raft. He said he won their bet, but Stearns is unimpressed. They don't share the same humor. He Wilson says that world beyond theirs looms, talking about Avengers: Secret Wars and Doomsday. Here's Waste Wilson's response when the time comes, talking about Doomsday, setting up Avengers: Doomsday, Avengers: Secret Wars, and it says Captain America will come back, will return, Uncle Tom Falcon again, and that's the end of this movie. That's the end. Just to tell him about Ross. I mean Ross, Sam Wilson and Stearns talking about him telling him about what's coming, the threat that's coming, leading up to Doomsday and Secret Wars. You know, coming out next year, I think. Either both. I think one's 2026, the other's 2027, I believe. I don't really give a crap. Yeah. Let me give my final opinion on this movie. So, Captain America: Brave New World. I did not care for this film. This was a ripoff of Winter Soldier. I thought the film was boring. I did not care for the movie. Before I get in positive, let me get the negatives. The story I didn't care about. It's a political thriller. It's trying to be action. There's not that much action in it. Winter Soldier had a lot better action. That had a better story. You are trying so hard. This film, the writers, you can tell. Why does this film need five writers? Red Hulk is shoehorned in here. Yeah, they just throw him in the posters and stuff to make you think there's going to be some big epic fight, and there's not. In the Incredible Hulk is 2008 version, that had a better story with him being on the run, him meeting Betty, and then the creation of the Abomination. That was a more awesome fight and longer fight. That was a longer fight that went on. And then the Abomination saying to Hulk, "You don't deserve this," while and then Hulk saying, "Oh, smash!" That was awesome. That was an epic fight scene. Another one of the best fight scenes in that movie are the fight scene between Iron Man and Ironmonger, Obadiah Stane, Jeff Bridges, and Robert Downey Jr. in the first movie. You know, that was a good fight. Captain America, the first Avenger, him and Red Skull had a good fights. You know, didn't last long, but it was still an awesome fight between the two. But I didn't care for the story. It's trying to be, it's it's too much of Winter Soldier. The story wasn't interesting. I was bored. It was just too much talking, and I didn't care about what's going on. I didn't care about Isaiah Bradley. I like the actor, but I didn't care for the writing. Oh yeah, he gets out by the end. The movie gets set free. Yeah, I didn't care what they did with the character of Ross. I don't care that he was present in the comics. I know he was very Hulk in the comics, but I'd rather have him just be a military general. That's character to me. I don't want him to be president. That's just stupid. Oh, he's trying to change over a new leaf. I'm like, that's not Ross. Ross is the same as being secretary. I didn't mind that him being secretary, but or having forced to retire from the military, I guess. But still, why? What, this film has one, two, five writers. Why do you need five writers on this film? Julia Ernst did not do a good job directing this. Yeah, I will admit the cinematography of the film is nice. Some of the cinematography looks good. I didn't think the CGI was bad. The Red Hulk, I think the CGI looked bad. Some of the CGI does look bad. The visual effects don't really hold up. It's like green screen. The visual effects don't look very good. Some of the cinematography, the film does look good. I like the cinematography in the film. The editing in the beginning is fine. You know, the action in the beginning is good, but after that, it became boring. You know, after the first half of the movie, well, first scene of the movie and with the president talking, with Ross talking, and then the scene where they go get the vibranium and titanium stuff they need. After that, I just lost interest. Jumps right away into a thriller, and I'm like, it just isn't working. I've dealt with Mind Control before, seen Mind Control like with the Winter Soldier. A lot of scenes do copy you, Winter Soldier. Yeah, it's just copy and paste. So it's like you're watching the same movie. Music score is forgettable. The film is 119 minutes long. It is just too long. To me, it's 2 hours. 2 hours didn't need this film to. Yeah, Winter Soldier is probably longer, but Winter Soldier had a more investing story. I wasn't invested in the story. I was bored. And now the actor Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie does good. He's trying his best. He can carry a film. I just think he needed a better story and script. He didn't need all five writers. He just needed a better story. Danny Ramirez, I didn't share Haas. I didn't care for Carl Lumbly. Just seemed like he was bored. Harrison Ford also seemed like he was playing for a paycheck. Tim Blake Nelson, the makeup on him was awful. He must have got a good check, but the way the character looked before was more awesome. But they changed it. When you get reshoots for movies and delays like that, you can tell something's wrong. You know, they shouldn't have done these many reshoots. Yeah. But the film was boring and the story started. The story is just it's just too much of a copy of Winter Soldier. This is like Winter Soldier the remake, if you will. Yeah. Brave New World. Lame title. And why do we need another Captain America movie? I don't care to see that. Just if you're going to continue with Falcon and Winter Soldier, well, we can't go over the story, so because they decide, oh, let's just make it a political thriller, let's just copy Winter Soldier. Yeah, like I said, I was reading there a while ago, they were intent to yeah, you can tell by this movie. Watch this movie, watch the Winter Soldier in this movie. You could definitely tell the writers were hell bent on making this like the Winter Soldier. That is one of the that's my favorite Captain America movie. That's one of the best superhero comic book movies ever made, in my opinion. And you rip it off. Don't rip that off. Leave it be. Stop ripping off a great movie. Do your own thing. Make your own story. Don't make little bullshit. Create a superhero film with a good story, him just fighting some bad guys or whatever. You don't need an epic story. They try to put an epic fight. You know, like the movie really tries to play on Red Hulk and Captain America fight. But again, it's the climax. It only lasts for 10 minutes. The fight didn't last that long, folks. And honestly, the fight bored me. I nearly fell asleep during it. I was falling asleep during this movie because I was bored. This is definitely one of the worst films in the MCU, just like Iron Man 3, Eternals, yeah, yeah, or Thor: Love and Thunder. That's bad as Thor: Love and Thunder, but it almost comes close in my opinion. That's my opinion, you know. But I hated this movie. You might as well just call it separate. This movie, I hated it. You know, to me, Sam Wilson is Falcon. He is not Captain America. I don't care. Captain America was Steve Rogers, Chris Evans, and that's it. I'd rather watch the 1999 Captain America. That's a terrible film, but at least I can laugh at it. But like, thank you, Mr. President. That was a lot more funnier and cheesier. Yeah, it's a movie I can laugh at how bad it is. Yeah, yeah. And him trying to calm down. We don't even get enough action. At least Captain America and the Ultimate Avengers 2006 animated film, 2006 animated film, he puts up a good damn fight. It took Betty to calm him down, if I remember. In that movie, Captain America is, you know, going toe to toe with the Hulk, not saying, oh, I'm just gonna wait, because Cap can do this all day. This Captain America can't do. Oh, because I'll go to the super soldier, and then he just, saying, oh, I can't be Steve. I can't be Steve. I'm not like him. I take super soldier. Why be Captain America? Be Falcon, you idiot. He never says in the movie, I'm not like Steve. Never says that to Ross. Never. In the trailer, he does. I guess they cut that out of the movie. Yeah, you know. And yeah, you're not Steve Rogers, the leader. Stern says something in the movie. I'm sorry, I'm just going on a bad one on here. He says something in the movie about being bored out of his mind or something. But this movie bored me out of my mind. Yeah, this film just sucked. I'm done with Marvel. I don't care about Fantastic Four or Thunderbolts. I know I'm gonna probably hate those two even more because I don't care to see them. I am done with the MCU. Stop making movies. I'm not gonna see the new Avengers. I hope they flop. Unless it's another Deadpool and Wolverine or a Deadpool 4 movie, I'll take that instead. The last great MCU movie, in my opinion, right now, is Deadpool and Wolverine. Screw the rest of them, including this movie. You know, stop Marvel. I hope the films keep on flopping. Keep flop. Because I think Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, those underperformed. From what I heard, they didn't do well at the box office. Good. Keep flopping. Then you won't be able to make any more movies. Marvel, you should have stopped at Avengers again. Freaking stop making movies. Anyway, my rating for Captain America: Brave New World. My rating for this film, I'll give it 1 out of 5 stars. Because, like I said, there was something I kind of liked in it. Overall, a huge disappointment, a huge letdown. Thumbs down for Captain America: Brave New World. Thumbs down. And so, guys, if you like Captain America: Brave New World, if you like the movie, to each his own. More power to you. This is my least favorite Captain America movie. This is the worst out of the MCU Captain America films, in my opinion. One of the worst MCU films, in my personal opinion. You can disagree with me. That's fine. But to me, Civil War is better. Winter Soldier is much, much better. Still the best Captain America movie. First Avenger is better. Yes. I'm sorry, but trying to replace Steve Rogers, Chris Evans, just doesn't work for me. I am not racist. You don't fucking call me racist. Anthony Mackie, he's a great actor. Yes, he's great as the Falcon. Winter Soldier, he was fantastic. In other movies, he's great. He's a great actor. But you cannot replace Chris Evans as Captain America. In my opinion, it just didn't work. This movie might have made somebody did make my box office. I guarantee you, Winter Soldier Civil War made $1 billion. This didn't even come close to that. So I wouldn't call it a huge hit either. And it got mixed into negative average reviews basically. So I think by next year this movie will be forgotten. 2, 5, 6, 10 years, nobody will remember Brave New World. It's forgettable. My rating for this once again is 1 out of 5 stars, thumbs down. And if you like the movie, more power to you. And stay tuned for the next review, guys. That is a DC animated film, my last DC review for now. This film is a sequel to the 2018 film. It's a DC animated Batman film. That is Batman Ninja versus Yuzaka League. Yeah, the sequel to Batman Ninja from 2018, which I reviewed on my other channel as well. But this will be the next review, so stay tuned for that. And then Thunderbolts will be next, the 36 MCU film, I believe. Yeah. But guys, tell me in the comments down below. What do you think of Captain America: Brave New World in your opinion? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is it you think what I think? Do you agree with me that it's a rip off Winter Soldier? Um, what is your favorite Captain America movie? Mine is the Winter Soldier. And what are some of your favorite films of the MCU? And what do you think of the 1990 film? Yeah. So, and how would you rank the Captain America movies? And the MCU? Maybe the 1990 film. How would you rank it with those as well? From best to worst, in your opinion. Tell me in the comments down below, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And we'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Bye.